2 days in. I'd stopped trusting the building and started trusting my inbox, which was its own mistake. I'd spent Wednesday being reassured by legal, by Adrian, by a very kind woman in People named Patrice, who told me the ID number thing was under review by the right team. Everyone was so reassuring. Then a number I didn't know sent me something that wasn't words.
You're asking the wrong question. Not are we allowed. Ask who benefits from a data protection officer who can't do anything.
No name. No hello. Just a voice that sounded like it was speaking from inside a filing cabinet.
Every building has a map its owners don't publish, the one that shows where everything really goes. I drew meridians. I'm sending it to you one sheet at a time. Start where the last person stopped drawing.
Who is this?
Wrong question. Again, it doesn't matter who holds the pen. It matters who's rubbing out the lines. Do one thing for me tonight. Sleep with your phone, because the moment they understand you can read a map, and they will sooner than you think, the very first thing they will do is come for yours.
The last person. He talked in terrain, routes, borders, the edge of the sheet, and never once answered the thing I actually asked, which was, who are you? I should have found that frightening. Mostly, I found it flattering. That's usually the same mistake wearing a nicer coat. But the last person, that snagged. Priya's voice at the coffee station. 1 week they were here, then the org chart closed over the space. So I went looking for the person who'd had my job before me. Simple. Every organization keeps a trail, a handover note, a leaving email, a name on an old policy. Nothing. No handover, no exit note. His name wasn't in the staff directory. Wasn't in payroll, wasn't on a single document I had access to. I even called Patrice in People, the reassuring one, and asked just casually who'd had the role before me.
You know, I'd have to check. It was before my system access. Why do you ask?
Why do you ask? 3 words, and the temperature of the whole building changed. The last person who did my job hadn't left. He'd been unwritten. I tried one last place. The fire safety role. The one list even a company like this has to keep by law, because it's about bodies, not data. Everyone who badges into that building is on it, so that when the alarm goes, somebody stands in the car park and counts you. And there, a few names above mine, was a person with no name. Just a staff number. A date. And in the column where a human being should have been, 1 word. Withdrawn. They had remembered to scrub him from the record that finds you in a fire. That is how thorough they were. That is how early they had started. And I was standing on the same list, 4 names down, having just, in my own name, gone looking for him. And still, I want to be honest, what I felt wasn't fear. Not yet. It was recognition. You spend your whole training learning the rules that protect people, and somewhere in your chest, you quietly assume the rules protect you too. That being right is a kind of armor. Patrice's pause took the armor off in half a second. Being right here wasn't protection. It was the thing that got you unwritten. And I had just, cheerfully, in my own name on a logged company machine, gone looking for a man who'd learned that exact lesson the hard way. And this is the part I want you to sit with, because I didn't, not yet. A company that can delete a man from its own records cleanly, completely, in an afternoon, can delete anyone who's in them. The woman at the market stall, the patient, the kid with the phone in his pocket. You. I was the privacy officer. 2 days in, and I still thought the records were paperwork. It took me the full 90 days to understand the records were people, and by then I was already standing in that room I wasn't cleared to enter, holding the drive, with Patrice's question still ringing in my ears. Why do you ask? Because someone has to. That turned out to be the whole job. Nobody had told me it came without a map.